Let's talk about Vinyl Season's Greetings, a Christmas-themed game about collecting records. Welcome to Brains on Games. I'm Dr. Brian McDonald. In this episode, we are going to talk about a Christmas-themed game because it's that time of year. But stay tuned to the end of the video because I want to share with you a little bit about what's coming up, including maybe a top games of the year list. But right now, though, we're going to talk about Vinyl Season's Greetings from Talon Strikes Games. Here's the box. It's quite a shiny one. Hopefully you won't get too much reflection on the camera here. But Vinyl Season's Greetings is a game for between 2 and 4 players. You can play it with kids aged 10 and up, and games take only about half an hour to play. Let's take a deeper look at Vinyl Season's Greetings from Talon Strikes Games. Vinyl Season's Greetings is a drafting game and a tile placement game. It's light in terms of its complexity, and what you're trying to do here is earn the most victory points by the end of the game by matching as many of the symbols as you can on these album covers. The cards are kind of fun. They've got the symbols on the side. I'll tell you what this little gift tag means at the bottom here. But on the opposite side, they've got like a full album cover. Some of them are puns based on, songs that you might hear at this time of year. This one says, "Honey, it's chilly in the yard." But they're not all like that. Some are maybe a little bit more serious, but it was fun to look for the funny album covers in amongst this stack of cards. Players are going to start with 5 of those cards in their hand at the beginning of the game, and they're also going to have the secret goal, which shows what symbols they need to have on different areas of their tree in order to earn some extra points. And there's a points based on number of matches on the side here of that secret goal card. The way things are arranged here is that the players are going to be sitting around the table kind of in a circle, and each player is going to be sharing 2 play areas. There's going to be a tree that they're building on their right-hand side that they share with the player on their right, and a tree on their left that they share with the player on their left. The way that you take actions in this game is by moving your little ornament here. So if I put my ornament over onto this side, I'm going to be placing an album cover on this side, and vice versa. I'll talk about the gift cards in a moment, but the idea of this player board and the ornament here is that you're not taking the same action on multiple turns in a row. So you move your large ornament to show what action you're taking this turn, and then you're going to place one of your album covers on either side of the board or underneath here in that gift cards area. Then you draft one of the cards from the drafting row, and then play moves on to the next player. Eventually, you're going to have these cards organized on either side, and they're in the shape of a Christmas tree, just like on this bonus card. I'll show it on the little camera here. So your album covers are meant to be arranged in the shape of a tree, and you are trying to match as many of those symbols as possible. The rule for placement is that when you play a new album onto one of these trees, it just has to touch one of the other albums. So you can't play something on the bottom if there's nothing in between the card at the top. And then you're going to earn points by matching up as many symbols as possible on adjacent album covers. So if I wanted to place one of these albums right here in this spot, I would go here, and then I would be looking for how many symbols match. So I've got one match here. I've got another match with the present over here. Nothing else matches, so I'm going to get 2 matches. That's going to give me 3 points. And the victory point counters are fun too, because they look like Christmas lights. So you're going to be collecting these little Christmas lights. That's going to give you some victory points at the end of the game. And you can get up to 10 of those points if you've got 4 matches. So you're thinking about matching the symbols on the cards. You're thinking about matching the symbols on your secret mission card. And then you're also thinking about those gift cards, because the other place where you can place your album covers is down here underneath. You have space for 3 of these gift cards, and that's where that little tag at the bottom of the album comes in. Because if one of the trees has all of the symbols on that little tag, you're going to earn some points. And the points drop, and they drop quite a bit actually as players start to collect these. So they're worth the most to the first player who achieves that match, and then the point value drops. So you'll collect, these are in a stack from the highest point value to the lowest, and as each player places their gift cards, if all of the symbols match on a single tree, they're going to get to grab one of these. The first ones are worth over 30 points, and then they drop, like I said, quite a bit. The gift cards were really a big decider in who was going to win the games that we played, much more so than these secret missions. It was very tough when two different players are playing cards into those trees to manage to get very many matches on those tiles. The game ends when all players have finished their trees and all players have placed their 3 gift cards. So you're going to start to count up points once that last card is placed. Like I said, these little records are going to be worth the most points out of anything, but you count up your Christmas lights and then you look to see which of your trees, which of your adjacent trees has the most matches, the most symbol matches here. You're only going to earn points from one of those trees. That did tend to be the most complicated part of the game. You're looking at these 2 trees and you're trying to add up, okay, I've got 1 match, 2 match, 3, 4, 5. I think the most that we managed to get in the games that we played were 6 matches on 1 tree. So I think my opponent, I remember in one game, my opponent had 5 on one and 6 on the other. So it was fairly close, but those 6 matches would earn you 18 points. Not nearly as much as those gift cards. You really want to get those gift cards matched at the very beginning of the game if possible. So what skills are you practicing, though, when you play a game like Vinyl Season's Greetings? Well, this is a game about matching. You are trying to match as many of those symbols as possible, so you're thinking about making those matches. But it's also a very spatial game. You are trying to place your album covers in a way that's going to get you the most points by matching the most symbols. So you've got a bit of a spatial component there in terms of the tile placement. But I think the biggest demand here is placed on working memory. Working memory is the whiteboard in your mind where you keep information so that you can manipulate it. You're keeping information and awareness so that you can use it somehow when we're talking about working memory. And there's a lot of working memory involvement here because you've got to think about 3 symbols on each of those cards that you're placing into the tree and which one is going to give you the most matches. You've got 5 of those cards in your hand, so you've got 15 symbols to pay attention to in your hand, plus the positions where they can be placed on the board. Which ones are going to earn you the most points? Then on top of that, you might be thinking, well, I also want to match the symbols on my little secret mission card. There's a lot to juggle here when it comes to working memory if you're really trying to do well in this game. Final thoughts about Vinyl Season's Greetings. Well, it's a Christmas themed game and it's that time of year. So it is a game that you're going to pull out at Christmas time. You're probably not going to play it in July. But it is a game that is very thematic in terms of the components. You've got the Christmas albums, and I really do like that the backs of the cards have the full album cover on them. I think that does make it more fun. The parody songs were a lot of fun too. I like that the victory point counters are Christmas lights that you're going to put on your player board. It is a very thematic tile placement games. The shared trees increase, I would say, the interaction. Some of these tile placements, you're just building your own tableau in order to earn the most points. But this one, you're collaborating with another player on a tableau, but you're actually competing. So you're trying to kind of earn the most points for yourself while possibly messing with the other player. So you do get that interaction and you're really competing for points with the players on either side of you and then trying to race to earn those albums. So I like the theme, I like the components, I like the parodies. If there are downsides, well, of course, it's a holiday game. You're only going to play it at certain times of the year, I suspect. The other thing is that not all of the albums were song parodies. So we enjoyed the parodies and had some chuckles about some of those little, just changing the wordings of song titles and trying to guess what song is that supposed to be. Here's another good one. I'll be around on the 25th rather than I'll be home for Christmas. We enjoyed those, but not all of the albums were like that. So we felt a little bit let down by some of the cards. And we were then paying most attention, of course, to the symbols. And maybe that's a downside. I know for some folks there's a lot to think about here. There are a lot of symbols to juggle. It does place huge demands on working memory, this game. And so for the younger kids, when you're thinking about 15 symbols that you have to keep track of, plus the symbols that are on either tree, and then you're trying to think about your bonus points at the end, that's a lot to juggle, I would say. So for some folks, maybe that's too much to juggle. It might be a bit overwhelming. But if you can tackle this as kind of just a relaxing Christmas themed game. We had Christmas music playing in the background while we were playing this thing, and we had fun collecting those Christmas lights. So that, in a nutshell, is Vinyl Season's Greetings. As I mentioned at the beginning, I wanted to spend a little bit of time giving you an update on what's coming up. So, of course, I've been going back over my videos through the entire year to think about, well, what are my top 5 games that I played in 2023? But I still have a few games that have come in that I haven't gotten to try yet, and it's not quite the end of the year. So I know that my kids are very excited about Steampunk Rally from Roxley Games. So this is one that I'm looking forward to trying out, and you know, the idea that you're playing a racing game with inventors throughout history who are inventing their car as you're racing it around the track, that sounded very appealing to my boys. But I've also just received this monstrosity that I haven't even opened yet. Unsettled is the game, where it's a cooperative science fiction game, and the pictures I've seen of the components are amazing. So I haven't even opened this one up yet because I'm almost thinking about doing an unboxing video. I don't usually do that, but from everything I've heard about this one, the components are incredible. So I am looking forward to checking this one out. So we've got some reviews of older games and newer games coming up. There's some previews of some, I have some prototypes that I'm looking at on my table right now on the other side of the room. So there'll be some previews for games that are coming to crowdfunding. We've got the top 5 list coming up. So I'm looking forward to 2024. I hope you had a great 2023 and that you're also looking forward to an awesome 2024. But if you have any questions or comments, or you just want to reach out, you can leave them in the comment section below the video, or you can email me at brian@brainsongames.ca. brainsongames.ca is the website. That's where future episodes will go, and the previous ones are up there already. Brains on Games is the X handle and the Facebook page and the Instagram feed, so we're all over the place. And if you enjoyed this video and you want to be notified of future ones, you can head on over to YouTube and click that subscribe button. Thanks for joining me. Hopefully I'll see you next time.